Edited is in sync.
Hey guys, my name is Haley.
And I'm Liyah.
Today we're going to be reacting to Game Theory Cuphead's Simple Secret Business. It's supposed to be a lore of Cuphead. If you guys know, I beat the game. What you guys say?
I know what the game's about. I know the story and everything. I watched a lot of YouTubers play it. Haley, I was in some of her videos, and then I gave up.
You gave up.
I gave up because it was hard. But then I'll go back and try to beat it again.
No, you can't play it. That game is hard.
But I like Cuphead. It's a really good game. It deserves. Did it win an award or anything? Because it's a really good game. Leave a comment, subscribe, check out our socials, check out our main channels, and let's get straight into this video.
This is the person that I'm supposed to react to the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, because everybody said
nothing blows my
react
wind
to
quite
it
like
by
the
him.
keen sounds of
Oh,
a
it's this
doghouse
guy.
and gobble pie
Okay.
pitching woo to
because
the
the
beats
one
of
that
the
Liyah
skin
showed
tickler.
us, I guess it
Come
wasn't.
on, don't be a tin
I
ear.
just
This platter
chose
is
the
a
shortest
ring-a-ding-ding,
one.
baby.
Man, they talked weird back then. Speak to me, bro. Oh yeah, I know. Tonight's party is gonna be lit AF. I am low-key excited to get turned up. We gonna get savage tonight. Hit me later with the DM, fam. Stay woke.
The subtitle did not go where he was talking.
intro.
That's
lit. This is good.
Show in gaming that's thick with 4 C's, a K, and a silent QUE. If you're looking for a break from these,
Yeah.
well, you're in the right place. In a year full of great games, Cuphead is easily one of the best, or at least best from a gameplay standpoint. On the theorizability side, there seems to be a little less meat on the bone. I mean, the story seems pretty darn straightforward. Our heroes Cuphead and Mugman find themselves in hot water with the devil after gambling their souls away. Since neither of them really want to lose their souls, they strike a deal with the devil and are sent out to collect soul contracts from the other inhabitants on the island to give the devil his due. It's all pretty cut and dry. But before you go running off to your kitchen to explain the dangers of the real world to your cutlery, I'm about to let you in on a secret that will completely shatter the way that you
understand the
perceive
story.
our heroic bowl-headed boys. For as innocent and
Gambling their
heroic
souls,
as
I can
Cuphead,
never.
Mugman, and Elder Kettle may seem, they're actually no better than the devil himself. When you look at the evidence, it is clear that these three are active criminals, participating in an industry of sin. Not gambling like the devil and King Dice, but instead illegal alcohol sales. That's right, Cuphead, Mugman, and Elder Kettle are all moonshiners, smack dab in the middle of Prohibition. Okay, so you're probably wondering just how in inkwell hell did I figure that one?
Yeah,
Let's
like
take a
what?
big gulp of liquid from our heads and start looking at the game. First, it's immediately obvious that this game is set in the 1930s. I mean, if
Dang,
animation and music didn't already tip you off, the game reminds us of its setting very frequently.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I get about the songs and
We've already
stuff
covered this era
and
of
how it
animation in our
looks.
analysis of Bendy and the Ink Machine to death,
Oh.
so no need to believe
I heard
the
that
point
game is
here,
hard.
But on this subject, here's a really fun
That
fact.
game?
When called
Yeah,
out
Bendy
on
and the
Twitter
Ink
for
Machine?
the
It's
inconsistent
scary.
coloring of Cuphead's hands and shoes, sometimes white, sometimes yellow, brown, even the color of their shorts, the makers of the game, Studio MDHR, responded that it was to mimic the inconsistent coloring practices used by cartoons at the time. It's just another reason to absolutely love this game and its attention to detail. Anyway, the reason I bring
What
up the
world
setting of
was
the game
that?
is because it has everything to
What
do
was
with
that?
the
This is
devil's
a running gun,
scheme on
I think.
Equal Isle and how Cuphead fits into that. You see, between 1929 and 1939, the world as a whole suffered from the Great Depression, an economic crisis that began in the United States with a crashing stock market, but had devastating effects on markets around the world. In the US, the unemployment rate would eventually rise to 24.75%, which meant that out of a workforce
You
of
like math,
51
right?
million people, 12 million people were left jobless. It was so bad that the US dollar wouldn't be worth a whole dollar again until 1944. So you had prices rising, the dollar losing its value, and people losing faith in the government to help with this job crisis. With no hope in sight, people started to look for hope in other places, like a big win on the craps table or at the bottom of a stiff drink. Tobacco, alcohol, and gambling all saw huge upswings during this period, and thus America saw the rise of what became known as the sin industries. Businesses that got their name by exploiting human addiction to less than savory practices. Think it's a coincidence that the casino in Cuphead is run by the devil? Absolutely not. In fact, the Las Vegas we know today owes itself to the sin industry boom of the 1930s. The legalization of essentially all forms of gambling happened in 1931. Everything
You gotta
from slot
understand, man.
machines to cars
The gambling,
to
man.
craps, and where
Yes,
we've seen
but-
all of those before. Oh yeah,
Look.
across Inkwell Isle. Tobacco
God,
use,
this
meanwhile,
game's so
took on
good.
a completely different tone from how we perceive it today. Cigars were associated with tough guys, while smoking cigarettes was meant to make you look sophisticated and refined. Now look how we see smoking portrayed throughout Inkwell Isle. On the gambling boat with Ribby and Croaks, we see classy lady flies in the
I
background. If you
don't
can make
look
it
all that. That's
How
crazy.
can you look all that when you're just fighting these enemies?
Yeah, I remember the cigar, dude.
Trench coats all smoking together. And again,
Oh,
both
I
those
didn't see-
fights
wow.
are tied to gambling in some way, and by proxy, the devil. This is the 1930s, Sin Industries. But of the three sin industries during this era, the most interesting was alcohol, because this was smack dab in the middle of Prohibition. For those of you who don't know, the Prohibition was a ban on alcohol that happened between 1920 and 1933 in the US. It was a governmental effort to reduce crime, solve social issues, and make Americans healthier by ceasing the production and spread of this so-called devil's drink. But it actually just ended up doing the exact opposite. Organized crime and gang violence surged
Tommy
during this
guns,
period as
mafia
underground booze
vibes.
trafficking
You should play that
became
game.
Big business. It was just
Yeah,
a
but
total failure.
I put in the
across
poll,
board.
they
Just
didn't
because it was illegal,
click me.
people were still finding ways
Those
to
other
get a
games
hold of their
better.
alcohol.
You always
They
put
better.
games that
Mentioned all the
overpower
little
that game
details
on
in
there.
Cuphead, you'll notice that the
Oh, I
only
still gotta
places
play
you see
Star Wars.
alcohol
Star
are
Wars
in
is coming
areas
out
owned by the
next
devil.
Oh,
year.
yeah.
This
When is that
year.
coming out? Next year?
Gambling
I think
boat and
next
the
year,
Devil's
yeah.
Casino, where
Or
you
this year, I don't
actually
know.
throw fisticuffs. Fisticuffs, couldn't resist. Fisticuffs against whiskey, rum, and a martini. But remember, this is 1930. It is literally in the middle of Prohibition. All of this is illegal. It would make sense for the devil to be breaking those anti-alcohol laws, but it would be something else entirely.
That boss
for
was so
poor,
easy.
innocent Cuphead to be doing it.
Really?
Sadly,
That
though,
shit took 3
that's
hours.
exactly what he's doing.
Liyah,
Cuphead,
this is-
Bugman, and
this
Elder
is
Kettle, heroes by
about the
day,
DLC.
and Moonshine
I know, that was
by
the
night.
main game.
Moonshine
That
is
shit
a
took
type
3
given to
hours
someone who
beating
made
that
Because
devil
I was trying to
boss.
beat the
illegal
dice
alcohol
dude. He
during
took forever. Because if
Prohibition.
you
And while
land on
many were
one
unsuccessful,
of
and
the
I
things
mean
on the thing,
really
I'm gonna have to go
unsuccessful,
back
we're
from the
talking
beginning.
I
65,000
know
That's why it
what
took
you're
that long. But I had to do
talking
5
about.
bosses.
I said Dashi.
levels of unsuccessful.
Oh.
I didn't say
Eventually, the
you.
science did become
I don't
refined
know
and
how
these
long you
alcohol
took.
beverages
Liyah,
were being produced
listen,
that
if
didn't
Dashi can
necessarily
beat
need
that
to
game,
include
you
the
can
false
beat that
death
game.
on
Dashi's
the
good
label.
at video
Since making
games.
this stuff was
Okay.
illegal, most moonshiners tended to work far into the woods. near a
I
water
remember
source,
watching
and in
his
places that only they
Cuphead
would know how to
gameplay. It
get
was
to. You
hilarious.
can make moonshine
need
using
to watch.
practically
He
anything,
makes me wanna
but
play
at its
it.
most basic, all you need is a
Didn't play
pan, a kettle, and a rubber hose.
Nah.
Once you have your juice, it would be
Not
passed
on
into
PlayStation.
jugs marked by X's to indicate
Deleted
how many
they, huh?
times they were distilled,
No, I think I
aka
still
how
have it
much
downloaded.
punch your moonshine was packing, and then they were delivered in secret to various businesses. From there, it would be common for your drink to be served by tea kettle or coffee pot into a teacup or coffee mug to avoid suspicion.
Is that why he
Now,
called
where have I seen all
Mugman?
those things before? Moonshine, made using a
Ah,
kettle, served
yep.
in teacups.
Yeah.
But that's not all. Think about where Cuphead starts his journey. Elder Kettle's home. The only place that's away from town and completely surrounded by woods. Just like where the Moonshiners lived during the Prohibition era. And right next to a water source. Coincidence?
all this is
Maybe,
just
but
like,
consider this.
how
You
I'm
ever
gonna
wonder
know
why
all of
Cuphead
this?
lives on an island?
People
It
smart.
seemed like a weird choice
I
to me.
didn't-
That
what?
Inkwell is just a series of small interconnected land masses all sharing the same name. Well, the size, shape, and general topography of Inkwell Island is actually fairly similar to the Bahamas, a series of closely connected islands just off the coast of Florida. Now, have you ever heard of Rum Row? It was an alcohol smuggling operation that ran between Florida and the Bahamas during the Prohibition. They were producing alcohol at the edges of the Bahamas and using boats to smuggle that booze into the mainland US. Now those boats around Inkwell start to seem like they have a real purpose. And it doesn't just end with a few geographic similarities. Let's stop for a minute and examine the fluid in Cuphead's head. Some have speculated that it could be a non-Newtonian fluid, the kind that acts like a liquid, but when force is applied to it, hardens like a solid. Others have said that it could be similar to the water of life that Japanese kappas have in their heads. But given the circumstances, it's incredibly unlikely that the fluid is something magical. It behaves just like any other liquid in the game. You see it splash when the characters are hit, or do anything that shifts from side to side. In the opening scene, they're kicked out of the casino, and we get the best view into Mugman's head, and we see that the liquid is white. Seeing a white liquid makes you immediately think it's milk, right? Or eggnog, I guess, but that would
milk,
be really
just
weird.
milk.
Well, it's not necessarily either of those. Researching animation techniques, you immediately learn that when drawing a clear liquid, white is the color of choice for just about any artist. Given this old-timey style of animation, one that doesn't use transparency, if they didn't color it in, it would just look incomplete. Or on the flip side, if they were to use blue, it would be more reminiscent of water. So cartoonists of this era tended to use white. In other words, yeah, it could be milk, but it could also just be any form of clear booze, specifically moonshine. Now consider this. Before a fight, the timid Mugman takes a huge gulp from his head to get himself pumped for battle. You're not taking a swig of milk and then suddenly being infused with courage and doing flips.
That is true.
There is the stereotype of taking a stiff drink of liquid courage, alcohol, before a fight to get yourself all charged up. But for super solid evidence, we need to keep looking back to the past, but this time not as far back as the 1930s, instead back to 2015's trailer of Cuphead, where he pours white liquid from a jug marked with 3 X's into his head. 3 X's, the mark of bootleg alcohol, a triple distilled jug.
Is that part of the show, or was that in the game?
Which, in 1930, is
when he did that.
expressly outlawed. So there you have
Good?
it. Our innocent heroes
I don't
are
remember
actually no better than the devil in his
some
casino. They're
liquor
agents
inside
of one
him.
of the Prohibition era's most
Where's that
nefarious
from?
sin
I'm about to watch the show
industries,
tonight.
distilling illegal
How?
booze with elder kettle in their secluded shack in the woods on the outskirts of Inkwell. Can't make it any more black and white than that. But the editors can.
Wow.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Oh, that is true. It's a theory, so we don't know until the actual people actually tell us.
And sometimes they don't like telling you. They like to keep stuff private.
Well, I need to know.
Play the game. I know I always see them drink it, but I just... Wow, there's a lot of things I didn't see when I played the game.
Well, when I saw gamble stuff, I knew it was gonna be like some. I saw cigarettes. I thought it was drugs, alcohol, and gambling. But all this stuff that they zooming in on, so I didn't see any of that because I'm too busy trying to make sure I don't die.
Right, like,
unless you like edit the video and you could just look at it, then I guess you can see all that. But
that's all I need to do. Now with games, I need to pay attention more to the background, take my time, and just look. That's what I'm gonna do. Are you gonna do that? Oh.
New games, yeah.
Yeah, new games. I cannot wait. I can't wait to finish the Star Wars series on my channel. I have a lot of things to do. Can't wait to grind.
Well, you could have finished Fallen Order when it came out.
Liyah, you could have finished San Andreas with just the classic mode.
No.
Anyways, guys.
Like, you don't understand the controls. It doesn't. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace out.